Hello once again, dudes, my name's Mill and welcome to the 12th JavaScript tutorial. In this tutorial we're gonna learn about a few commands. We're going to create a function real quick. I'm gonna call this language test. Just a very random name. I'm gonna unload this function already. Language test. So it's loaded in the body when we run the script or the program. So what we'll need to do, I'm gonna create a variable. I'm gonna set this equals to Danish, for instance. That's a pretty awesome language. So create something called switch. So what this basically tells, it's telling that, alright, what we wanna do now is run a test. So basically, well, how can I explain this? Switch basically says like, alright. Well, basically, it's asking, well, how can I explain this? Switch is basically saying that, how can I explain it? How can I explain it? What switch is saying is that we're calling a function that should probably actually, we're probably gonna call this language actually. This is basically like a function. So we're saying like, alright, we're creating a language and we're saying equals to something. We got a parentheses when we're doing this. So it's saying, alright, we're switching and we want to test out something. And we in parentheses type in language. Right, finally came up, explanation. So go ahead and type in case. What this basically does is saying, alright, so we have something called a language and it has a value. If it is like, let's say Danish, for instance, like we used, and then we got add something called or we're just going to call document, right? Denmark. This is where the language came from, and break. So let me explain this quickly. We're creating like a little function or something, a value. It's called language and it's equals to Danish, a piece of text. So we're saying like, alright, so we want to test out language, and if the case is Danish, document write Denmark. And what the break basically means is that well, what basically does, it's used to finish each case. So it's saying like, if you're running this case and it was succeeded, then there's no need to test the other cases. So we can actually go ahead and try to delete that break later. But actually, let's just save this and go ahead and run it. You can see it says Denmark. So let's go ahead and create another case. This time I'm gonna be like English, and I'm gonna be like UK / US. So if we go ahead and change this to English, right, and refresh it, it's saying like, alright, doesn't show up. I probably messed something up. Oh, I forgot to add the break, of course. Stupid me. So if we go ahead and refresh this, it still doesn't work for some reason. What did I mess up? Properly. Oh, yeah, I forgot this totally. The break doesn't matter right now. Sleep. That's it. Alright. So it says now UK, US. So you can add as many of these as you like. German. As many as you like. But this is sort of like, like a if statement. It's just, what if none of these, really, fits? Then it's going to do something. And now this function can be used in a lot of places, but it's called default. What this basically tells is like else. It's basically doing the same thing as else. It's saying like, if none of these are true, I'm gonna say not found, right? And here you don't need to add the break. So I'm gonna change this to lollygagging, which is not a language, I hope, and refresh it, saying not found. So let me explain this to you one more time. It's built. We created a function and loaded it. That's pretty simple. We made something called language and set it equals to a piece of text called lollygagging. we tell that we should test language, and if the case was Danish, document right Denmark, and don't test the other things. And then it run the same and default. If none of those were true, then document right not found. So let's go ahead and try to set this equals to Danish again, right? And remove the breaks around here. So I'm just gonna remove the break. Alright, so if we go ahead and refresh this, see, we have a clusterfuck, because now it's not saying, alright, enter that test. It's running all of them. So basically, the break are taken care of, that you don't go ahead and try anything else. You can use this in other ways than this, but that's just a quick example. So basically, that's it for this tutorial, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next tutorial.